So one of my very favorite things to do in the entire world is host loved ones, especially if it's a holiday dinner party. And over the past decade plus of doing this many times, I've learned a thing or two that I'm so excited to be sharing with you in today's video. I'm sharing with you the entire timeline, my step-by-step process from several weeks before down to several minutes before people arrive. I've got food and menu details, how I go about grocery shopping, decor details, how I take care of my home, take care of my guests, take care of myself. And I hope this video, whether it's your first dinner party that you're planning to host or your 101st, I hope it's an encouragement, that it's gently motivating, and that along this process we can plan, prep, execute, and really enjoy hosting people together. A few words of encouragement before I throw it back to when this process all started. Number one, I want you to know that things do not have to be perfect in order for your guests to be welcomed, blessed, and fed. My mantra for hosting people in my home, whether it's a very casual party or a more fancy event, is to have my guests feel blessed, not necessarily impressed. And that mindset shift has helped me so much. Secondly, I want to encourage you to take any advice that I share in this video with a grain of salt and make it work for you. In this particular video, I'm hosting Thanksgiving, but if you're watching this in the middle of summertime and you're planning a luau barbecue in your backyard, I want you to feel free to retrofit anything that I share in this video for this specific event that you're hosting. And finally, I want you to know that there are things that simply won't get done. Stay tuned to see the things that I either forgot, left out, and spoiler alert, it was all fine in the end. It all turned out. My guests at Thanksgiving had a wonderful time. So get that pen and paper or your laptop or phone notes out, and let's throw it back to several weeks before when I was just starting this planning process. Hello. It is, what is the date? October 23rd. And I know I said that this is where the planning process starts, but if I'm being honest, it actually started last year on Thanksgiving, or a little before then, because I like to take notes as I go through my process of menu planning, grocery lists, timeline details for the day of, decor details, layout plans for tables and chairs and buffet. Relying on my own brain power adds so much more stress than if I just take a few minutes to write some stuff down. It doesn't need to be in perfectly bullet pointed notes in beautiful handwriting. You can do digital like I do here on my laptop. You can use good old-fashioned pen and paper like my mom does. Right now, I'm thanking my 2022 self so much because I have a note on my laptop which lists everything out that I made. And then I have follow-up notes in red to tell me what was unnecessary, what was a fail, what was a flop, and what was a total hit. I have a few things here that I will absolutely be putting on this year's menu, and that is where we are going to start. I'm gonna try to run down this as quickly as possible. This is going to be a long video, you guys. Just buckle in, and if you need to watch it in pieces, I totally understand. So here in my Master Thanksgiving planner, I am looking at what I did in 2022 and kind of copying and pasting it into this year, paying attention to the notes that I made for myself and plotting out my menu and then my grocery lists. So for appetizers, I would like to do a cheese ball with charcuterie and antipasto. I like having a couple of tray or like board sort of things. Easy to prep a couple of days in advance and easy just to bring out and serve at the time of the event. I'd like to do shrimp cocktail, spanakopita, and my stuffed mushrooms were a hit last year. I got a chocolate platter. Something for my cheese ball charcuterie board that I will do different that I see in my 2022 notes is keep crackers in plastic sleeves until time to serve. The crackers were stale. We don't want to make that same mistake twice. So I'm going to remember that for this year's charcuterie board. Dinner is actually a collaborative effort for us for Thanksgiving because my mom and sisters or any friends that we invite, they always ask if they can bring something. People love to be able to contribute and to cook. So mom's got a turkey going. Weston's going to do a turkey. We'll do the cranberry sauce. This spiced cranberry sauce in my notes from last year that I made was a hit. And so I'm making it again. We've got a friend bringing a holiday ham, sister's bringing mashed potatoes, my mom's bringing her amazing stuffing, my friend Teresa's bringing green beans, my friend Crystal's bringing sweet potatoes, we've got Lana bringing a pecan pie, we'll do an apple pie and a pumpkin pie and get whipped cream probably at Costco. For drinks here, we'll do sparkling cider, water with lemon, and then hot drinks, we got K-Cups coffee in the Keurig, and then I'd like to do spiced hot apple cider. We actually pressed apples fresh with friends in October, and I popped that in the freezer so that I can use it during the holiday season for spiced hot apple cider. But for the menu here, I will start building out my grocery lists based on where I can source things, stuff I might already have in my pantry, where things are most cost effective to get. Costco is going to be that place for us with having 30 plus people to serve. Bulk stores are probably more economical, but I will be getting random things at like Kroger stores, maybe Trader Joe's. I'm also going to be snipping some fresh herbs from our garden. Also plotted out here how many adults, how many kids, how many like babies, lap babies, just so that I can figure out how many chairs we're going to need and seats at the table if we're bringing in folding chairs and folding tables, which I'll share all of that with you when that time comes. I have one more thing that I want to add to this menu, and that's this sort of roasted mixed veggie. It's called a warm salad. I found it over here on Pinterest. I will link it in the description box for you guys if you want to follow the recipe. But typically I do most of my menu completely familiar things that I've already done before, and then I will add one or two kind of new recipes, new to me. That way, if they're total fails or if they take me longer than I expected, it's not really compromising the rest of the spread and what I have to serve my guests and to make for them. So right now, I can't really start going out and doing grocery shopping or like making a grocery order through Instacart for perishable items. That is going to be saved for about a week before and up to a few days before, which I will check back in with you guys when we get to that point. But between now and then, I'm going to start refining the grocery list and start putting together my carts for Instacart orders. And I can also gather non-perishable items. I'm gonna order my cranberry sauce from Thrive Market. And at this time, another thing that I can kind of get out of the way is scoping out any of my hostessware, serveware, stuff like that, platters, dinnerware. It's gonna look different for everyone. This time it's a little bit more formal, so I'm using actual like reusable, washable, nice dinnerware. But I've gone the paper plate route before for more casual gatherings, and that's totally okay. So that's where we are about 5 weeks beforehand. Over the next few weeks, I'm just gonna be refining things and kind of going through my lists and also communicating with guests who are bringing food. And then I will check in with you guys when we're about a week out from the dinner. We are T-minus 1 week until the dinner. Very exciting. And this is actually the point where I can get up from the planner or the laptop or whatever and start executing and start making things happen. It feels so good. So I can go around and do some deeper cleaning. So if there are decluttering or cleaning tasks that are in common areas where guests are going to be, this is kind of the timeline when I get those things done, like vacuuming out in between the couch cushions, things that I don't want to be doing the day of, but I will be glad that they're done. We've got some spaghetti sauce spots on our living room rug that I'll probably just clean up really quick with our little handheld carpet cleaner. Stuff like that. Now, since I'm sitting here, I'm gonna quickly order my groceries. I've been working on these grocery lists and orders. I'm gonna set it to go, that way it's locked in, and then I will see you guys back for grocery day when everything arrives. I have a few tips to share with you that really help me get everything kind of put away and organized to set myself up for cooking day and the day of when I'm getting food and different things out for people. That I'm going to be putting together. So let's start with the warm roasted veggie salad. It is already smelling so good in my kitchen right now. Those veggies for that salad are roasting up. I'm keeping my eye on them. And I'm starting in on my stuffed mushroom recipe. The stems are being chopped up with shallots, and then I'm taking a shortcut by mixing that with a pre-made artichoke jalapeno dip from Costco. That stuffing that I saute and mix up and cook up will be put back into the cleaned little caps, but I will save the roasting up and the final cook of those for the day of. Okay, so I have a little tip to share with you guys that will take your food from okay to amazing. And that is to invest a little bit into some fresh herbs and garnishes. And not only does a bunch of fresh parsley or cilantro or some fresh sliced green onions really add to the flavor of a dish, but that fresh pop of green adds so much life and vibrance to the dish that you are making. So even if you are using canned cream of mushroom soup and canned green beans for your green bean casserole, doing a little sprinkle of some fresh parsley on the top after it's done baking takes it to the next level. For now, these can go into the fridge. Our roasted veggies are looking good. Right now, I'm toasting up the pecans to go into it. I didn't want to chance roasting them in the oven and have them burn. That would just ruin the whole thing. So I'm gonna get that in here. Then this will be done for now, and on the day of, I maybe toss it with a little bit more of that dressing and put some crumbled blue cheese in it and maybe a garnish of fresh parsley, and we're good to go. But this is delicious. Here's another quick tip for those of us prepping some food in advance, and that's to take just a couple of seconds and write the cooking instructions on top of the foil or the wrap or the lid of whatever dish is being popped into the fridge for a couple of days. This not only helps me in the moment when I'm putting things into the oven before guests come over, but if I have someone over and they ask if they can help, or if Weston wants to help me while I'm distracted with something else, the cooking instructions are right there. It can be easily prepared and makes it foolproof to get the food onto the table hot and ready and delicious. I am getting off of my feet for a second because I've been on them for a little while, and I'm just going over my list again. This is one of those moments where the bandwidth of my brain is starting to decline. I've got a cluttered kitchen right now, messy. I'm starting to feel a little cluttered and messy in my brain. It's so nice to be able to go back to this list and say, what do I need to be focusing on? Be able to check some things off. Got the roasted veggies done, got the mushroom filling cooked and the mushrooms assembled. I can check those 2 things off the list. And 2 more things I want to do is assemble the 2 platters that I'm putting together. So I have a savory platter and a sweet platter. So let's do the chocolate platter first, because I want to give my cheese just a little bit more time to warm up, soften up, and then we will do that charcuterie board. Putting together these platters is so nostalgic for me. The flavors of the chocolate platters specifically really bring me right back to my childhood at my Grandma Judy's house during the holidays. She always had chocolate oranges, chocolate covered cherries, and petit fours from Harry and David, and I included some broken up pieces of peppermint bark this time as well. And then for my charcuterie board, this reminds me of my adolescent, kind of teenage years, because my mom would always have my sister Sarah and I put together the cheese and crackers and salami platter. And this time, rather than having a bunch of different cheeses, which I have done in the years past, I made it simple by just opting for a cheese ball, which I will leave the recipe that I loosely followed in the description box for you guys if you want to make something like this. I actually could have probably cut this recipe in half, but I'll talk more about that in sort of my recap a little later on. I learned my lesson last year and kept my crackers in their plastic sleeves until right before I was ready to serve. That way we don't have stale crackers this time around. And amongst my cured meats, I have little bowls where I will put olives and artichoke hearts and other little marinated things. And I think my favorite part about this year's charcuterie board is that I was able to include some radishes and carrots that I grew myself in my garden. I'm so proud of these. I could not for the life of me get this can of baby corn open, so I had to wait until Weston was here to get that prepared. But I did make another mistake with the charcuterie board that I will share with you guys a little bit later, so stay tuned. This is gonna get all covered up and put into the fridge with other things that I made. I had to rearrange some shelves in there to make everything fit, but it's so worth it to be able to get things cooked or assembled in advance. And now I have a very messy kitchen. I do have something that can be simmering on the stove as I clean. It's my cranberry sauce. I'm gonna have that going. And then the longer it sits with those cinnamon sticks, like kind of infusing in it in the fridge for a couple of days, the better it gets. So I'm gonna do that and clean up this kitchen. Hello, hello. Welcome to the day before. I'm feeling rather festive today and very excited for tomorrow. But today is the day that I get my cleaning primarily done. I do have some like last minute wipe downs that I do right before guests get here because, like I said before, kids. Not a lot stays truly clean around here after I clean it, but that's okay. I'm not gonna get perfectionistic about things, but it would be nice to be able to see through our windows. People are gonna get here when it's still daylight outside, so I'm taking that into consideration with what I'm choosing to kind of wipe down and clean up. I've got an oven I wanna clean up. I've got people bringing dishes that will probably stay warm in the oven for a little bit, and I'd like to open a clean oven for them to put their dishes into. It's looking a little rough right now. Also looking rough is our wood burning stove window. It's completely covered in soot and I just need to wipe that down because it'll be nice to have something glowing and crackling in the corner over there, very cozy. Today is also the day that I set up our tables, put together some like buffet stuff. I've got a kids table that I'm also putting together. I'm gonna wait on the table set up until Weston gets home. It's much easier to lug our folding tables and folding chairs from the garage with his help. That's gonna be the fun part that I will get to later, but right now I'm gonna roll up my sleeves and get some cleaning done. So as I'm going around and doing this cleaning, I've been grabbing batteries out of light strings or pieces of decor that light up that are battery operated. Like this little snow village that I have, I just grabbed the batteries out and I'm gonna pop all of these into my charger station. And then about an hour before people get here tomorrow, I'll pop all of the batteries back into everything. That way everything has a long life and is nice and bright. I should probably step outside and grab the batteries from my little battery operated candles that I have in those lanterns right by my front door. I'm gonna do that and then head into the dining room and get those windows wiped down. Okay, everything is pretty much clean. I'm looking like Cinderella here. There are some things around here that still need to be cleaned up and wiped down. I'm gonna continue doing some dusting and stuff like that and cleaning up clutter in corners as I go. I didn't clean the guest bathroom yet because honestly it will get messy between now and when guests arrive, and I actually have a very specific strategy for guest bathroom cleaning that I will share with you guys tomorrow when that time comes. Weston is on his way home right now, and when he gets here, it's time to start setting up the tables. For our family holiday dinners, there are always way more guests than what our 10-seater dining room table can accommodate. So we always end up pushing the table down into the room and adding some folding tables and chairs. These are actually the folding tables and chairs that we have had for years and years, long before we inherited this teakwood dining table after my grandparents passed away. And honestly, I just want this to be an encouragement to you. People don't care if they're sitting at an heirloom table versus the plastic dining room table on a metal folding chair. I think part of the reason why is because I actually take the same decor that I use on the nice dining room table and extend it over onto the plastic table. So all of the seats, no matter where you choose to sit, it feels just as fancy and just as nice. Any seat in the house is a good seat. That's what I always try to do, and I think my guests appreciate it. During this part of the process of setting these tables up, I am doing everything I can to take as much off of my plate for the day of. So I am setting out linens, place settings, decor. I've got my candles all set up, which these are the lucid candles that I discovered a while ago, but they actually burn a clear smokeless fuel that you refill into the cylinder of the candle. There is nothing like the elegance and the sparkle of a real flame for me, but I don't like to deal with drippy wax or having to repurchase wax candles all of the time. So these lucid candles have been just wonderful for us. I don't, however, put real flames over on the kids' table. They get these fun little flameless candles that go into these vintage glass votives, and they have all sorts of little activities and stickers and colored pencils so that they can color in or play tic-tac-toe on this Thanksgiving paper tablecloth that I put on the table for them. They always have a great time over there, and they're nice and close to the rest of the guests if they want to pop over and talk to mom and dad or interact with us or grandma and grandpa, and they never feel sequestered or secluded over there. My nieces and nephews and my own kids always really look forward to the kids' table, and I love that so much. Another thing on this day that I take some time to set up so that I can take things off of my plate on the day of is my buffet area. Like I said before, this is the spot where we have our appetizers and drinks set up. So I take some time to grab my beverage dispensers out, my crocks where I keep little K-cups for our coffee maker, chafing dishes, the fuel to keep the chafing dishes warm, any trays or tiers or supplies that I need. And I just wipe everything down, make sure that it's dust-free and smudge-free, and find its spot on this buffet so that all I have to do the next day is bring out the prepared food, place it where it goes, and it is go time. So you may have noticed that I put some of this butcher paper on the top of this buffet. The intention was not just to protect the surface of the buffet itself, but also use a marker and some nice handwriting to label the different dishes that I had. Like I said at the very beginning of this video, we just have to be okay with the fact that, you know what, some things are just not going to get done. And labeling the dishes and doing the pretty handwriting on this butcher paper was one of those things that just never happened. We ended up being so glad that I ordered this butcher paper because Weston actually forgot to get the butcher paper that he needed for cooking his turkeys. So in the end, it all worked out, and I was so glad we were able to do all of this prep and planning before the actual day, because when the sun rose on Thanksgiving and it was a beautiful sunny day, we were able to enjoy the morning as a family and finish up the last few things that we needed to do on the day of before guests arrived. The day hath arrived. Happy Thanksgiving, or if you're watching this for inspiration for a different holiday, happy holiday. I just stepped out of the shower, got my hair dried and kind of styled, got my face kind of on, and this is my strategy for making sure that I get ready in time and I'm not stressed about it. I kind of par bake myself. Kind of just in my bum around clothes right now because I still have some cooking and cleaning to do. And then I have some floral arranging to do, so I didn't want to get my outfit that I'm actually wearing kind of messy from that. But I have it all set out so it's a quick change into that within the hour of guests arriving. And then I kind of pre-styled my hair, and at the time that I get dressed, I will come back in and use my curling iron, just refresh some things, or maybe pull my hair half up. But even if like it stayed this way, it would be totally fine. That's kind of where I want to get to. And then I did my makeup without mascara or eyeliner. And so at that same time, I will go in and just like finish up my makeup, maybe do like a little bit of lipstick or something, get some nice earrings in, and that will take me like less than 10 minutes to finish my look, and it is much less stressful this way. I'll just, go in and refresh deodorant, get some nylons on, maybe a spritz of perfume, and then I am good to go. So now we're gonna turn on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and I am going to make some floral arrangements. Turkeys are ready?
I think so.
Yay! Aren't you glad I grabbed butcher paper? All the floral arrangements are done. They're looking so pretty on the table. Oh my goodness. They add such a beautiful, lively touch. Kind of like I was saying earlier with like the fresh herbs in your recipes, I think fresh florals or even just greenery, something that's actually alive, makes such a difference. It is worth every penny. I'm always so pleased with the result. I had leftover tulips and roses and some of that silver dollar eucalyptus, so I put it in this. I always like to make an additional vase like this to put next to the sink, even though it's kind of a mess over here right now. And then I have this arrangement, which is gonna go on the back of the toilet in the guest bathroom. So let's go clean the guest bathroom. So because the kids' bathroom is probably the quickest thing to get dirty after I've cleaned it, a few hours before an event, I will clean it up thoroughly, scrub the toilet, make sure the soap is full, wipe everything down, make sure the wastebasket isn't overflowing, get the spit splatters off of the mirror, replace the hand towel, turn off the light, lock the door from the inside. Hey guys, just so you know, the bathroom is clean and I've locked the door, so if you need to use the bathroom, please use mine. And then 10 minutes before people show up, I will pick the lock, light the candle, and it's good to go. Weston just started the vacuum, so I can't really talk to the camera anymore. We are gonna go around and do the last tidying and wiping down and finishing up of like cooking stuff, setting food out, and then we will be about an hour out from people coming over. Well, the house is clean, the table is set, the spiced cider is simmering away, Weston is carving the turkeys right now, the sun is shining, the tank is clean. Got stuffed mushrooms and spanakopita with their last 5 minutes left in the oven. What else have we done? Weston reparked the vehicles so that we would have as much room as possible in our driveway for guests to park. Kids right now are supposed to be doing a final tidy of their bedrooms, and then also we asked them to do a little final walk through our bonus room in our second building where we have like video games and stuff set up. I am just about ready here. Gotta get my earrings in. 1, 2, a little spritz of my favorite perfume by the fireside. Ah, it smells like Christmas dreams come true. All is calm, all is bright for now. Once people start coming through that door in about 15 to 20 minutes, this house is gonna get loud, and I love it so much. What a privilege and a blessing, and quite frankly, an honor it is to host family, to host friends that feel like family. I get butterflies in my stomach as I anticipate seeing them roll down our driveway and come through the front door. I cannot wait to see my nieces and nephews, their sweet faces. I think we're gonna do some carols around the piano later on this evening, and I just have a couple of things left to do. We are nearing the end of that to-do list and that planning. I'm so glad I took the time to do a little bit of extra planning and prepping beforehand, because right now, even though I've got those little butterflies, I am not stressed out. I am confident and I am ready, and I need to go around and light some candles, light the fire that I pre-built for us. Weston just took the spanakopita and the stuffed mushrooms out of the oven. They're headed into the chafing dishes, which I also have to light. You know, I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I have to unlock this bathroom door. Maybe that's it. I don't know. It's okay if you forget something. It's okay if things go undone. I'm just excited to see our guests, and I am so, so grateful to be surrounded by loved ones and to be able to share this holiday and this meal together. There is no tired like hosting tired. And it's actually one of my favorite tireds in the world. There is such a sweet satisfaction the day after, even though my house is an absolute mess right now. We did load up dishes and stuff into the dishwasher and do a couple of loads last night, but there is still definitely more to be done. But I wanted to give you guys a bit of a recap because there are a couple of things that I missed. You know how yesterday I was saying I feel like I'm missing something? You know what I missed? The batteries. Here I am saying pop all the batteries out and make sure that they're all nice and charged so everything's bright and glowy and has a long battery life. Yeah, none of the batteries got put back in. I completely forgot. It was a bit of a fail on my part, but it's all good. It really did not make that much of a difference. Another fail on my part is a lesson that I learned this year that I am putting down into my follow-up notes so that next year when I do this, I won't make the mistake of slicing into the figs on the charcuterie board a couple of days in advance. Man, when I uncovered that charcuterie board, everything looked amazing except for the figs. In fact, one of them actually had the tiniest little bit of mold growing on it. I will either next year completely leave the figs off, or if Weston happens to be in a grocery store on the day before, he can pick them up as fresh as possible. But those are definitely one of those things that cannot be prepped in advance. Lesson learned. Something else on the charcuterie board that I could have done different is I would have been able to get away with making half of the amount of cheese ball that I did this year. I could have easily cut that recipe in half. There was plenty. We're enjoying leftovers today, so it's actually really no big deal, but that's just something to note. Oh, the chocolate platter needs to not be put next to the chafing dishes that are literally on fire. We had a couple of melted petit fours. Again, not the biggest deal, but it's worth noting here. Another thing here is I did not like the brand of coffee that I had in the K-Cups. Typically I get it from Costco. This time I ordered the Amazon house brand and it was not as good. So I'm just making a little note of that as well. Again, literally nothing here is a deal breaker. Nothing here ruined the party. I'm glad I caught that little spot of mold before someone popped it in their mouth. That would have been the worst case scenario, but we're good, crisis averted, and now I have charged batteries that I can pop into my little light up decor and strings of lights as we say hello to the Christmas season, which has officially started. It was such a treat to have you guys along for this process. So if you are still here watching this part of this video, thank you so much for sticking around. I know it was a long one, but hopefully it was encouraging, not overwhelming. I hope it gave you some gentle motivation. That's what I am all about here on this channel. And now that it's time to tidy up and to keep working on just kind of cleaning up after the event, I am looking forward to the next video going up on my channel, which is a whole house declutter with me. I'm excited to see you back here for that video next week if you're looking for some decluttering inspiration or motivation. In the meantime, if you have any questions or need some clarification or would like to chat a little bit more about hosting in general or my process for everything, I would love to continue the conversation down in the comments. Thank you so much for spending a little part of your day here with me on my channel. Merry Christmas, and I'll catch you later.